and only thing is around the globe, people try to focus to make use of Internet of Things, meaning bringing the digital data and digital system to make our life very easy and comfortable. So that is how I understood this is part and parcel of our city planning and development process. And the historical aspect already discussed, and how that proposal was evolved, and we are fortunate enough to get the funding in the first round as first project of the country. So this is quite satisfactory. And actually what we have achieved and what we are going to achieve in future, also these are very important questions. And some of you have seen those who are the local residents, certainly they have a different say picture in their mind, and those who are visitors, they have a different picture. And we as citizens of this particular city, we have a different assessment and understanding about the smart city activities. And to make you clear that whatever you see, this is a kind of cumulative say effects contributed by different organizations, not necessarily what we see, everything done by Smart City Limited. So this should be very clear. So let us see, there are different corridors in Bhuvneshwar city, and one of the important corridors starting from Bapuji Nagar and Forest Park Junction to the end of Bani Vihar, that Janpath, and you can find very recently that project was completed, and they have widened the roads and with very nice parking yards and kiosks and so on and so forth. And physically you can see some change, and that change also very much noticed by the local people and also outsiders. But once you go beyond, say, Joydev Square, Joydev Bihar Square towards Nandankanan, and that area, it is a kind of spontaneous development by the private developers. All along the road, they have taken the advantage, and new commercial areas have come up, malls, etc., and modern marketing system. And towards the end, you will find like the picture of some parts of Navi Mumbai with the high-rising buildings, and that is purely by the private developers. And why I am giving this, if you go to the railway headquarter and the railway yard area, and that part developed by the Ministry of Railways with their funding. So my point is that it is pieces by pieces, but developed by different groups, and therefore together it gives a different picture and very satisfactory to us and also to outsiders. But say within that we have also a lot of stories hidden. Already Professor Misra mentioned that, and so that is the point. And definitely published as a part of the souvenir, and if you have time, please go through it, and you can have a lot of say information from that. And we have I have 2-3 pages about the say concepts, because unless we are very clear about the concepts, then probably we will struggle, and then we have to interpret in many different ways. And the practitioners, the scholars also, they have many different ways of understanding, and they adopt different kind of analysis. And in a very simpler tone, I put my definition: a smart city is a spatial platform which provides multifunction and services that enable the citizens, users, and functionaries in performing the best in an easier and faster way, while minimizing, overcoming the potential threats and negative impacts such as environmental degradation, pollution, and others, simultaneously deriving the fullest benefit and satisfaction to users and providers by adopting Internet of Things and information and communication technology. This is how I define in my own way. And then what are the different components of smart city activity? And I have also 2 slides on that, and that is about some of the components. And just to give you the smart city architecture, starts from smart transportation, smart energy, smart healthcare, and everything smart technology, and smart city design, and IoT in smart cities, and then say big data system, and so on and so forth. So you can find a number of things. And then I have also one more slide about smart cities and smart say solutions available around the globe. So we have to also take up some of the best thing say that is happening in other parts of the world, and our smart cities also trying to emulate some of the ideas from other cities. And some of the common smart cities well known: Singapore and Zurich, Oslo, and Barcelona, and also in Denmark there are a group of cities, and they have some characteristics of say smart city, meaning they are making the best use of Internet of Things. So digital technology is the main, you can say, backbone of this kind of activities. So they see things from that point of view. So I'll come to Bhuvneshwar. So we have to understand the Bhuvneshwar in a holistic way, and say it was planned for 40,000. Now the population is about 1.3 million. And so similarly, the geographical spread almost like more than 150 square kilometers, the real built up area. Of course, if we take surrounding areas, it will be much larger. And we have to not only focus only on say Bhubaneswar. So Kotak is nearby. So we have to take into account also Kotak, Bhubaneswar, twin city, and together they have more than 2.5 say million population, is a quite large population, and the axis or the corridor say from Nandankanan to Kotak is also growing in a very fast pace. So therefore we have to look into the whole system. And in and around Kotak, Bhubaneswar, so Puri is another say corridor, Khurda is another corridor, and if we push beyond Kotak, we can go also up to Chaudhar, and there are different say towns within 50 to 60 kilometers. You can find a good number of towns, and they are very much organically linked with Kotak, Bhubaneswar cities, and we have to think in a regional scale. And Kotak, Bhubaneswar is a good regio policy and very much linked with the system, and they have a responsibility to do something for the region. So therefore, we cannot see things only Bhubaneswar as a smart city, but what would be its role and as a functional integration with other towns in and around. And then we talked about something like natural hazards. I have one slide about the natural hazards. So very briefly, I can say that Bhubaneswar is very frequently getting flooded almost every season, and 2-3 times a year, and difficult to drain out the flood water. And this is a very common scenario in Bhubaneswar, like other towns and cities in the country. And the other aspect is like it is not so much prone to say earthquake hazards, but 2-3 times we had the tremor, and very mild, and it is within the say low intensity zone. So therefore we cannot rule out. So something may happen maybe at the lower to say middle intensity level. So that is also another point of concern. And in the past also, Bhubaneswar was very much impacted by super cyclone in 1999, and in Fani in 2019, and other cyclones are also occurring, but the impact is less because the landfall is quite far away from Bhubaneswar. The point is, it is flood prone, it is cyclone prone, and earth prone is a question mark, it's a lower order. And so in terms of air quality, I think so far we do not have any problem, but in future we do not know what is going to happen, and everybody is afraid of looking at say Delhi situation. So therefore, say smart city is not considering all these, and they are in the project mode, and they are trying to put up their funds for different project activity, and whether it is integrated with the system or not, that is to be assessed later. So therefore, I propose disaster risk assessment and reduction approach must be considered and integrated with smart city development process. So this is very, very important. And then temperature rise is also very common. Bhuvneshwar goes as high as 45 degrees centigrade, and during that time you simply cannot have a very comfortable living. So therefore, many different issues are there in terms of natural hazards. And therefore, let's go to other points like how we can measure. And of course, Niti Aayog and others, they have their own indicators, and they have some assessments, and some of my friends, they have already presented. But also I have taken from different sources a kind of generic approach how to understand our smart cities. Maybe I have a few of them, and I will not highlight everything, but say railway and airways. Bhubaneswar is quite good and satisfactory, well connected in the region, and also other nodal centers. And roads quite good now in the state as a whole, and within Bhubaneswar, outside Bhubaneswar, and peripheral areas. So road system is quite well developed, connectivity is quite good, and quality of roads are also quite good. And similarly, we can think the other aspects like water and electricity, and water is provided in some of the colonies, say 24 hours, and you can drink from the tap. So this is quite a good achievement. And then in terms of drainage and storage, there are a lot of gaps and questions. And in terms of drainage, because flooding is a recurring issue in Bhubaneswar, so therefore we have to think and analyze, and smart city or city planners alone cannot solve this problem, and we have to take the help of water resource department. Engineers are there, they understand the network, and they know the source and points and how to handle and control. And in terms of storage system, okay, in the initial phase, storage system was not in place except a few places. I know university campus like Banivihar had the oldest storage system, but never used. But nature has to take care of automatically because of lateritic soil, and the structural aspect had taken care of that. But now the new system is in place, under construction, and except a few locations, I think it is not yet functional. And 4 or 5 years gone, we do not know when really it will start functioning. So gaps, drainage, and this. And solid waste disposal, many people have talked also in the past session, and it is a evolving process, and not very much satisfactory. Of course, involvement of private parties, and they are introducing new systems, segregation of waste, but it should be done at the household level, at the individual level, and not at the municipality level. So there are certain issues, and you can find also the dumping yards are full, and the local residents, villagers, they complain and protest. They don't allow, and government has difficult time to find out new dumping yards or how to handle it, though there are some micro composting units available, and also material recovery centers are there. They're trying to handle in all possible way using some of the important knowledge system, but still it is not satisfactory. And then telephone and internet, yes, by private parties, private companies, it is working well. The network is very good, but BSNL network is not that way, working
Alert
so nicely.
From your disk
but,
is almost
why
full.
The telephone and internet is very, very important when we say Internet of Things. So internet is very basic, and so therefore we depend on many different things. So traffic management, I'll just give you one example. Traffic signaling is very, very important one. Lighting system is very, very important one. But to me, as a citizen of this particular city, most of the times it is defunct, and the man, the traffic person is handling, standing with a hand light this way, that way, and all kinds of things. And this is the area it needs improvement, and that is the job of the smart city. And you can find some message boards, yes, in place, and you can find CCTVs just to say prevent the traffic violators. So that is the one purpose. And sometimes, of course, for law and order situation, and say the social climate in terms of say burglary, the criminal activities or road accidents. So maybe that is in place at many different say locations, and the CCTVs are working well to my knowledge. And public transport, the facelift has been done, and say in Odisha everything more worse, and then some of them are e-vehicles and also auto rickshaw. So 3 systems introduced by government, and they are well interlinked, and now they are giving say good service and so on and so forth. So housing sector already a big challenge for the slum people and others. And also I will say give you something like what are the say attributes and assessment, and some of them are adopted, and we have to develop our own say variables and also the indicators and parameters how we can say assess. And there are certain important issues in this case. Just I have only 2-3 points. Just I'll close up. So first thing is there is no coordination. There are several institutions, and say BMC, BDA, Bhuvneshwar Smart City Limited, Director of Town Planning, HUD, Odisha Water Supply and Storage Board, Power Supply Agency, Roads and Public Works, Department of Water Resource Department, Odisha State Disaster Management Authority, Odisha Remote Sensing Application Center, Odisha Pollution Control Board. If you see, say holistically and want to develop a smart city, say Smart City Limited alone cannot do much, and they can implement some of the projects with the funds at their disposal, and say certainly government will support and help continuing. So this is my concern. No coordination, very weak and poor. So the coordinating agencies should be put into platforms selectively for selected items. And then at the local level, ward say level, so ward say governing body should be formed, because whatever you see the development is taking place by the politicians, so-called councillors and elected member of legislative assembly, they decide, oh, this is the place for market, this is the place for this and that. And they also allocate informally, oh, okay, you should have a kiosk here, and all kinds of things going on. And sometimes it looks very nice from a distance, but the internal stories are not so good. But city is becoming, say, a kind of orderly developed city. That is what you can see from outside, but functionality point of view, difficult. So I have a few, say, recommendations. And say before undertaking the Internet of Things, the city government, urban local bodies and development authorities should ensure the fulfillment of all basic infrastructure and service facilities while enforcing a clean and green environment. This is very basic. And then they can go for IoT of things. IoT is cosmetic. To me, it is cosmetic. It is for data management. And we have to gather different kinds of data just to analyze and support in the process of planning and development. And of course, governance point of view, these are very, very important, but alone cannot do. And renewable energy focus should be there, sustainable development and all those kinds of things to be just last slide. Say my last slide is that what is needed for making a city smart. We are already in the process, but what we need to do. So we need smart infrastructure. You see, if you say there are many different points like a road system. Now it is already oversaturated, and you have to see the plight during the peak hours, over congested. And the smart suppliers and providers, those who are providing services, they should be smart, and they don't need to have 10, 20 calls just to repair your internet at home. So we need smart suppliers and providers. And then we need smart experts and professionals and managers, So you may have a smart city, say limited, but say I tried to meet, but could not able to meet them to have a formal discussion what is going on and all kinds of things. So they are less of experts, more of executors, implementers of the projects. But we need to see some smart experts, professionals, and managers. Then why you are developing this smart city, and quality of life is one, how to improve. So we need smart users and smart citizens. They must be aware of what is available and how to use it. And then we need a smart community. Why? Because many things will go at the community level. So we are forgetting community as a whole, neighborhood as a whole, or colony as a whole. So smart community, and overall we need a smart governance to oversee and to make sure that smart city project is moving in the right direction. It is not one-time activity or one term or 5-year activity. It should go on to make the city smarter and smarter with the cumulative contribution of all allied departments. This is what I would like to submit, and coordination is very important. That is missing, no coordination. So they decide by themselves